TitleMatchNetwork.com.
How did you get into the WWF as a jab guy early on?
Yeah, a few people know I did that. Alpha had to deal with them.
Right, he was just sent to town up there?
Yeah, so, that's when WWE was really doing mostly Northeast Indies. They had started Raw. I forget, when did they start Raw? Probably 93, 94?
Yeah.
Because Billy Firehawk passed away within a year or so ago, I think.
Yeah.
He was one of my first opponents in Lower East Side Wrestling Gym. And he kind of got a connection pretty early on with Raw, where he was kind of helping bring some guys in. So right off the bat, I called him back in 93 and said, dude, we'd be able to, I went up there. He never got me into the Manhattan Center. But then by 95, when I was working for, Alpha, he'd get me any Northeast TV taping. And my first one, back then they did mostly high school gyms. They weren't doing big buildings, at least for the TV taping. And my first one, we were in this huge room, man. The dressing room might have been the high school gym. And then they had another little arena next to it. Because it was just this huge room where everybody's just kind of laid around, sprawl, big stars and everybody just sitting there kind of getting dressed and had their own corner or whatever. It's a really big room. Not as big as a basketball court, but close. And first opponent was Diesel. And they told me straight up, man, they said, Diesel had just done a job on a pay-per-view, I think. And they said, he just lost, so he has to look strong. And they now told me, we're putting a strap on him. They said, so he's got to look good. We're going to put the strap on him. So he has to look strong against you. I don't give a fuck.
Right, exactly.
I'm on TV. I don't care. So I go out there, and Sean was his manager. And I do the deal with Diesel. And afterwards, man, I go back in and, trying to be humble and stuff. And, man, Diesel, they be right, dude. He walks in, and Alpha's on the far side of where Diesel walked in. And instead of Diesel Kevin going over to Alpha and saying, he did a good job, he screams, Alpha, you brought over a good one. And he definitely did it intentionally,
Right.
And him and Sean and Kid, 123 Kid, they all took a liking to me right off the bat.
I was going to ask you, is there anybody in the locker room you connected with?
Yeah, those guys right off the bat. I got Tony Greer, I think, liked me too, because I played rugby in college, and I told him that once. And he's from Australia, and he liked rugby and stuff. So, and he was the guy that was in charge of putting the job guys with the stars. So I noticed he started putting me with guys that could go. He put me out there with Owen Hart, which I love Owen. He was funny, but he gave me the stiffest dropkick of my entire life. He did the missile dropkick off the top. And it literally, man, almost knocked me out in the chest.
Right.
And shoot made me do a backflip. I didn't do but I landed real high on my head and ended up on my belly from it. But as a shoot, man, I didn't expect that. Quang?
Right.
Quang?
Yeah.
Put me out there. That guy could go, man. He's not really remembered, but, man, that guy can go. They put me out there with him. Then they would critique me, and they said, you're not showing enough personality. So I said, all right. So the next time I went to, I think, Poughkeepsie, and I had a lot of friends come up from New York. So I went to Tony. I said, Tony, and I never asked for anybody because I just didn't think it was our job to ask for someone. But for my friends, I wanted a good match, so I asked for Kid. So I knew Kid liked me, and I just loved his style. I always liked Kid. So he put me out there with the Kid, and, man, poor Kid, man. They were fucking with him or something. He showed up late that day, though, so they were really fucking with him. And the one thing, he let me do the moonsault. And he didn't let me hit, I didn't even ask to hit it. But I asked if I could miss it. And I was like, I know it's one of the moves you do, so I understand if you don't want me to do it. I was like, but not everyone would let me. He goes, I don't give a fuck. He goes, yeah. He goes, we'll do a deal where you miss it, and then I'll get up and I'll hit it. So he was cool about that. Billy Gunn and his guy, and Billy and Bart, they let me do the moonsault too. Everyone else said no. Those guys are cool. But yeah, definitely Kid, Sean, and Nash. Those guys really. But it was the one thing that was frustrating because the Hardys were there at the exact same time, and me and Kidman, they always brought Kidman too, but they never used him ever. To the point once where Scott was really hurt. Scott Hall's shoulder was hurt, and he put him out there with one of these big fat job guys. I was like, how the fuck? And I right there, he's telling Patterson, how the fuck am I going to put him up in the razor's edge? Look at this fat fuck. Right in front of the guy. I'm like, holy shit. He goes, you guys bring this fucking kid here, and he's pointing to Kidman. He goes, you bring this motherfucker here every fucking TV, and you never use him, and he's good. Let me work with him. And Pat had him come in and said, take off your shirt, which, we all knew about Pat at that point.
Right.
I looked at Kidman, he looked at me, I'm like, what you got to do, dude? But Pat just wanted to see how he looked without a shirt on for TV, and he went, So Scott goes, I'll tell you what, I'm going to go out there, I'm going to let this fat fuck beat the fuck out of me. I'm going to hit him with one punch and pin him.
Right.
Because he was pissed. He wanted to work with Kidman. He wanted someone to do this. I think he ended up sitting the guy in the corner and then getting behind him and doing that. So
You talked earlier about training with Moolah. Now, I think you were the only guy in the camp, right?
no,
There was other guys. Okay.
yeah, there was hardly any women.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Memories of some of the girls over there. Like, I think Diamond Lil was her name. Who's that?
Diamond Lil is the midget, and she called her. What the hell did she? My damn midget.
Right.
Where's my damn midget? But Diamond Lil lived there.
Okay.
Diamond Lil lived there, and May lived in a house with Moolah, and their garage was the school. And she lived on Moolah Drive, which South Carolina, Columbia loved her. And they had you turned onto Moolah Drive, and it was this winding road, and it went to this big property with 2 lakes, and she had a bunch of trailers. And I think a lot of the indie guys who would come and train also rented out a trailer from her.
Gotcha. Any good stories from that camp?
Oh. When I first got there, now that was right at, when I wrestled in the Northeast, I wrestled barefoot because I didn't have boots yet.
Right.
And then I went and bought shoot wrestling boots, like collegiate wrestling boots. So when I got down to South Carolina, Jim Mitchell told me straight up, we got to work this bitch. I said, you can't tell her you've just been working for fucking 3 months or 5 months. How long? You've been working for 3 years. So he sets up the appointment. I'm going to go down and meet her. Well, as we're getting ready to do it, like a week early, he goes, he wanted to see my gear. I didn't have wrestling boots. He goes, motherfucker, we can't tell her you've been working for 3 years and you don't have boots. So I had to do this fast order, and like the day I was going down there to fucking meet her, these fucking boots come. So, it's like a kid. I see these boots. It's like kind of validation. I'm a real wrestler, man. I got real boots. I got the equipment. So we go down there, and she goes, all right, honey, go in the ring. Let me see what you got. So, dude, I pull out these fucking crisp, brand new fucking boots, and I have no clue. I'm trying to lace them up, and they're really stiff. Just, honey, how old are those boots? I'm like, 3 years. So fucking Jim immediately knows that I'm fucking up. I have no idea. I think they look 3 years old. What the fuck do I know? So I get up, and Jim sees her snickering and shit. So Jim comes over and goes, motherfucker, scuff up those boots. Scuff up the boots. Scuff up the boots. So, dude, I get up, and I start walking across the floor. Because he goes, the bottoms of them, he goes, they're like fucking the sun shining in my eyes. So I get up, and it's out. Thank God it's outdoors. It's like her...
Parking lot?
Yeah, a little driveway parking lot. So I get up, and I start going across the floor. I'm like, shh, 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 shh. And I look back at her, and she just does this. But she had a smile.
Right.
She had a sense of humor about it, at least. She got me a couple of bookings. I ended up moving to Florence about a year later, in '93. And WWE Florence, South Carolina, just opened a new arena, and WWE was their first event. So she got me a booking with that, a tryout with one of her guys. And what she called a tryout. It was a favor to Moolah.
Right.
It wasn't even an open match. I guess they didn't want to. They had to start with their star, which I kind of assumed would be open, but we weren't. So I go backstage, and I was the second match I did the moonsault. Now this is before I really met Sean. As soon as I come to the back, Perfect's there, and he's like, "You fucked up, dude." I had no idea Perfect's a river at this point. It's Mr. Perfect. I'm looking up to this guy. He goes, "You fucked up big time." I'm like, what I do? He goes, "That fucking moonsault kid is fucking hot. 1, 2, 3 kid is pissed. Go apologize." So I'm scared shitless, And I really think this is my fucking tryout. Little did I know. I don't even think they fucking the agents watched it. So I go into the dressing room, kids getting dressed. I'm like,
was Sean in on it too or no?
No.
Okay.
So I'm like, Sean, I'm really sorry. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, Curt told me you watched the current and you were real pissed. He goes, I don't give a fuck. He goes, he's ribbing you, dude. He goes, let's rib him back. He goes, let's start screaming and throwing shit around in here. So Sharon, he goes, like, when? He goes, now. Goes, what the fuck, dude? So fucking, I'm like, dude, I don't know any better. How the fuck am I supposed to know? I'm feeding into it now. And he's like, and he's telling me, come on, yeah. He starts throwing stuff, making noise. People fucking come running in and meet him. Like, at this point, have to be pulled apart. So we're working everybody else.
Right.
Like an idiot, dude. Like, I get so caught up in it. I start screaming shit like, man, I don't have Wade Keller putting me over every weekend. That ain't how I'm getting my job. Right. I'm like shooting on Sean, and I can tell he's really fucking getting mad because I'm a dumbass. Oh, man, fucking. I think, yeah, at the end of the night, Sean told Perk, because I wait, of course, like a monk. I wait for the whole show, of course. And then even after everybody's leaving, I want to be the last out of the building, whatever. So I was getting in my car, and Perfect goes, you motherfucker. Put my shit in the car. Goes, you motherfucker. You'll never get a rib over on me again.
Right.
And that was the end of it.
Were you nervous you were going to get heat from the office because you're fighting with one of their stars at all, or
No, because I knew, I thought Sean would expose it right away.
Right.
Like we didn't even really work it out. It was more of a just do it, and we started doing it. I didn't know how it was. I didn't know what the payoff was.
right?
I didn't know if people would come in, and then they'd come in, and he kept like doing it. So then,
Right.
but then afterwards, I was like, I wonder if Sean really got mad because I started kind of shooting on him about the torch putting him over every week.
Yeah.
So I probably fucked that up. Who the fuck knows?
Watch thousands of exclusive shoot interviews right now on TitleMatchNetwork.com.